Good. Um, I'm going to show you the gear that I use for getting my sound. I get a lot of questions about how do I get my sound actually. First of all, I'm sorry for the hiss. I notice it's pretty noisy at the moment. Um, I couldn't figure from where it's coming from, so I think it's probably from the pretty high amount of compression that I have on the tubas here. You can see it's like you could say the Kramer tape is already compressing a little bit. Then I have the Elysia, and then I have the Puig Child on top of that as well. So there's a fair amount of compression going on. So most likely that's upping the hiss. Anyway, let's get back to the to my sound. Um, Actually, I'm using mainly a guitar, a cable, an audio interface, and for the rest, it's all in the computer. I have a little bit of outboard gear. I have two pedals. I'm not really a pedal guy. Um, yeah, that helps a little bit, lifts the signal a little bit. So I have like an overdrive pedal that I mainly run clean or with just a little bit of drive, but minimum. That's more as a line driver. Okay, good. So here's my my clean sound um, that I'm playing. Quickly playing a little bit. You can hear the strings now through the microphone as well, so I'm sorry for that. But I hope you can still hear the tone from the chain. Good. Let's go through it. So the signal that's coming in, I'm running through a compressor. That's the Klanghelm. Yeah, well, it says here MJUC. Um, that is, I don't know, I think 20 euro plugin or something. It's no less than awesome. You mainly have three different types of compressors. So this is like a 50s style compressor. This is like 60s, and that one is more the modern sounding, more clean compressor. For guitars, I use that one because it has a bit more of a darker kind of sound. So it definitely has its own sound. Um, it has a very nice drive as well, where you can emulate a little bit of overdrive from the device. So this is supposed to be a tube compressor, as far as I understand. Yeah, and that is just cleaning out the signal a little bit and um, yeah, taming the transients from the attack from the strings. So that goes before anything. So now here comes the main part, and I actually use the Engl um, Retrotube. In this case, I'm using the channel 1, which is mainly like the clean channel kind of. As you can see here, the gain is very, very low. I usually put volume and master all the way up because they have a very nice yeah, tube saturation, power tube saturation emulated with that. That's actually quite cool. Um, yeah, I use that one. Also here on the input gain, I go a little bit lower to avoid as much distortion or overdrive as possible. As you can see here, the impulse response, I use in this case the standard Engl box here with an EQ, how do you say that, microphone. Yeah, of course, a microphone. Here you have your 57, your SM57, and a ribbon. That's what that was the name what I was looking for. And that this is a ribbon microphone. I love the sound of ribbon mics. Yeah, clean, especially for my lead tones. Clean or overdriven, I usually put the mids a lot in, and the treble I have a little bit taken out because otherwise it gets too bright. And the bass response, I have a mahogany guitar, so that has a lot of bass response already, so I'll took that out as well a little bit to not have too much humming or droning sound here. So that's one of my clean tones. I called it Jazzy Clean Pride, yeah, because it's a very thick, yeah, jazzy sounding kind of tone. If I use my neck pickup, which is actually a little 59, then you can hear that. Yeah, I think that says it all. I find it quite amazing just with the plugin what you actually can do. Good, okay, let's check what else we have here. So I use from Softube the Tsar reverb, and if you look through the effects chain, I actually have two of them. The first one is mainly to emulate a room, so really just like as sound, the amplifier would be placed into a room. That's the basic idea. If I switch everything else off, then you can hear that. Compressor goes off as well. Yeah, so that it doesn't sound too dry. So next I have the Elysia Alpha compressor. That's again also to tame the output of the amplifier a little bit. Then just the basic standard delay from Logic itself. So nothing overly exciting. And then I have another reverb here. Again, it's a reverb. I really like that one. In this case, because this is more of an epic sounding guitar tone. It's rather long. We can see here reverb time of almost 8 seconds. It's actually quite a lot. It sounds like this then. Next I have a gain, because the output of the amp is relatively low due to the fact that I had to reduce the input gain a lot to get a really nice clean tone. So that's why I use the gain here to up the gain a little bit. So next one, the virtual mix rack. So I use the mix bus. So basically that emulates yeah, recording to a box, or to mixing desk. So the virtual mix bus here, what it basically does, it emulates the input transformers of a console. And then to get some extra bass and shimmer, it's basically an exciter. And that's it, actually. So, okay, tuck, tuck. Let's put everything on and listen again. And that is my clean tone that that I'm using actually in when I need a clean tone, so to speak. Then I have another one here, for example. So the setup is pretty similar. I start with a compressor. This is the one from Logic. Then this is a free plugin actually here. This also is an emulation, I think, of an Engl Savage or something. Pretty cool. I use this only for clean actually. I hardly ever play rock with it or something. The Retrotube is a lot better for that. But the clean tone here is really nice. So with this one, I also don't use an impulse response or anything, because basically what an impulse response does is emulates a speaker, and if you know that guitar speakers are usually having a limited range, they usually range from sort of 80 hertz up to, let's say, 4, and usually they have a peak in the mid frequency. So if you use an equalizer and dial a similar frequency response or frequency range in, you can roughly emulate that without the need of any impulse response or modeling or something. That's basically what a modeler does as well. Of course, a modeler is a bit more sophisticated, but the basic idea is the same. So then I have another free plugin that's a chorus. It's a pretty 80s sounding chorus. Yeah, it's also very nice sounding. It's really nice sounding. Then I have another EQ. It's just for designing the sound a little bit. So this is not about speaker emulation or something. That's really about, yeah, designing the sound a little bit. Obviously, I had sort of around about, what would that be, like 300. I'm taking a peek out there. Right, then again I have my Tsar. Reverb is the same thing again, emulating a room, and my alpha compressor from Elysia again to tame the output a little bit and smoothen it a little bit. My stereo delay here, and another reverb again, in this case for the epic sounding. Let me quickly switch the input and I play you a little bit on how that one sounds. This is my clean rhythms for picking and chords and stuff. So let's have a look. Yep, that's it. Those are my main clean tones that I use. Let's go to my rhythm section. Rhythm, I usually try to play as dry as possible. I use the Rock Rack actually, and I use the old one. I like the sound of that one better. Um, this one is has a mid scoop, so which is actually pretty cool because yeah, my rhythm guitars I usually reduce the mid anyway, and in this case here, if you have a mid scooped amplifier, um, then you don't have to tame the mid so much. The reason for that is because I want to make room for singers or well, vocals or lead guitar, which usually has a where I put the mids in, and of course then I have to make space in the rhythm so that they do not collide, right? So this is actually quite nice here because you have already a mid-scooped amplifier. I play you sound with it. This one is from a track that I'm working on, so it's panned hard right. So don't be surprised if you just hear it from one side now. No, we're not live yet. Ah, okay. Oh, there you go. Now we should. Yeah, come on. I'll pen it in the middle so for the video that you can hear it. Okay, again. Pretty heavy, and yeah, pretty much like it. You hear an echo and a lot of reverb that actually comes from the bus. You see, I have them routed on the bus, and I think I also put some delay on the bus. I'm not sure. No, it's not here. Okay. Then it comes from the Rock Rack itself because it has a built-in delay as well. Let's have a look. Must be, yeah, okay, here on this section here I have a delay dialed in. When I mix down the song, I'll take the delay out, that's for sure. Right, okay. On the bus, you can see here my EQ settings. Again, a little bit of reduction in the mids. As I said previously, the reason for that is to make space for the more mid-rangey signals like lead guitar and vocals. So next one, my lead tone. My lead tone you can see here. That's one of my favorite lead tones actually. And again, I use the Engl, and in this case I use channel 2, which is the more overdriven channel. And as I previously said, gain full in, master in to emulate the power stage of the amplifier. Bass in this case in, middle, very much in, but I left it a little bit like at 2 o'clock. Because in this case it otherwise gets too promoted, right? And then the treble I have all the way in. The reason for this is that I have my mahogany guitar, which is more a bass heavy guitar, and so you can actually dial the treble in for the distortion channel quite a lot. If I had a brighter guitar with an older body or something, I probably would reduce the treble here a little bit. Okay, I'll play you this one as well. So first give it an input. There we go. case I have reduced the signal below, what is that, like 150 Hertz to have a bit more tight. It's the same as having something like a tube screamer in front or something like a pedal, just yeah, to make it in the lower frequency, to make it a little bit tighter. And my trusty Elysia compressor as well to overall smoothen the signal out a little bit. Right. Yeah, those are my main settings actually. I only have those 3 tones that I basically use, that I just showed you, and for the most part it's the Engl Retrotube. I have on my channel also a review on the Engl Retrotube, and I also have a review on the BX Rock Rack, and I will link to those so that you can see that as well. Okay, thanks for now, thanks for watching. I'm signing off and I say so long.